Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever just locked eyes with an animal and genuinely wondered what they actually think of you? And I don't mean whether they like you or not, but what they fundamentally believe you are. Well, today we are going to dive right into the absolutely fascinating sensory perspectives of how domestic and wild animals truly perceive us.
Okay, let's start by looking at a perfectly relatable scenario. Picture this, we're lying in bed, totally overthinking our complex lives and projecting our complicated human thoughts right onto our pets. We sit there wondering if they're pondering abstract concepts, you know? The thing is, we humans are incredibly ego-driven. We think of ourselves as these main characters with names, careers, smartphones, and complicated narratives. But the reality? Animals do not see humans the way we see ourselves. They honestly couldn't care less about your job title or your mortgage.
So, if we push our human ego aside for a second, we really have to ask, what kind of creature do animals actually believe we are, based purely on their unique sensory inputs? If they had to categorize us, where do we fit? Are we a threat, a curiosity, some giant provider, or maybe just confusing background noise?
To figure this out, our agenda for this explainer takes us on a pretty wild perspective shift. First, we'll look through the animal's eyes, then move into the minds of dogs, cats, and horses. After that, we'll pan out to the wild and strange viewpoints of nature. And finally, we'll bring it all together with the idea that we are what we do.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Through the Animal's Eyes. We're going to completely deconstruct the human identity here.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the total disconnect between our human self-importance and the practical reality of what actually matters to animals. Names, jobs, phones, yeah, that's our world. But an animal's toolkit for judging us relies heavily on smell, sound, movement, and routine. An animal doesn't care about your sparkling personality. It's processing your size, the pitch of your voice, and your daily habits. It's a completely different filter.
Let's transition to the creatures that might understand us best in Section 2. Dogs, our loyal pack members.
Because dogs have spent so much time evolving right alongside us, they are incredibly good at reading our faces, following where we point, and sensing changes in our moods. But, and this is key, a dog doesn't think you're just another dog. They know you look, smell, and act entirely different. Instead, they view you as a strange, upright pack member. To them, you're an emotional anchor and a protector who somehow has a ridiculously terrible sense of smell, but amazing, magical access to snacks.
So the crucial takeaway here is that when you walk through the front door after a long day, your dog absolutely does not view it as just a casual arrival. To them, it's a massive, profound reunion. You are the creature that brings structure, safety, and affection to their world. In their mind, your return is literally the most important event of the day because you're the ultimate provider for the pack.
Let's flip the script a bit and look at Section 3, Cats, the Trainable Giants.
This perfectly illustrates the totally contrasting mindsets of our favorite pets. While dogs see a devoted pack leader, cats see us entirely differently. A cat knows you aren't a feline. You're bigger, you're louder, and you're way less graceful. But researchers believe cats don't see us as masters at all. Instead, they treat us like social partners. Essentially, we are large, somewhat clumsy giants that are highly susceptible to being trained.
Actually, take meowing, for example. We tend to think of it as standard cat language, right? But adult cats almost never use it with each other. They use it almost exclusively to talk to humans. This means cats have literally developed a specialized communication tool specifically designed to get us giants to open doors, dish out food, and give them attention. They've figured out exactly how to push our buttons.
Next up, another deeply connected animal in Section 4, horses, the herd leaders.
Now, because horses are prey animals, their whole survival depends on reading body language, tension, and breathing. At first glance, a human is actually super confusing to them. We have forward-facing eyes and we approach directly, which means we look exactly like predators. But if a human projects calm energy and confidence, the horse processes that. Once that trust is earned, they can accept us as a safe herd member, a really weird leader who magically guides them, feeds them, and asks them to do very specific tasks for reasons only we understand.
Okay, now that we've covered the domestic side of things, let's zoom out in Section 5, the wild and strange.
Out in the wild, the way we're perceived varies wildly. Take a highly intelligent crow, for instance. It doesn't just see a human, it recognizes your specific individual face, and it will remember you for years as either safe or dangerous. A city squirrel, on the other hand, sees you basically as a moving tree, a large obstacle that occasionally drops crumbs. And then there are raccoons, who view us essentially as the proud owners of magical food boxes, which we happen to call trash cans.
I absolutely love this thought about urban wildlife. Think about it. To a raccoon digging through an alleyway, all of our cities, our commerce, our jobs, it might just look like a super complicated infrastructure designed solely to produce their dinner. It really puts our whole human self-importance into perspective, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, under the water, marine life has a completely different lens on humanity. Dolphins, who are insanely agile, probably view us as these clumsy, slow swimmers who make weird bubbles and need complicated equipment just to survive. Whales, because they're just so massive, perceive us as tiny, fragile creatures, kind of like a bird standing next to a skyscraper. And octopuses, with their highly alien and intelligent minds, can actually recognize individual human keepers right through the glass of their tanks. They might not know exactly what we are, but they definitely know we matter to their environment.
Which brings us to our final unifying thought in Section 6. We are what we do. The reality is, animals aren't sitting around trying to philosophize about what a human is. Instead, they understand us less as a single complex species and way more as a predictable pattern of habits. Dogs learn that jingling keys mean we're leaving. Cats learn that the pop of a can means dinner time. Crows learn which faces throw stones and which throw seeds. They learn exactly what we do.
So while we're sitting around by candlelight, endlessly overthinking our complicated human narratives, our politics, and our dreams, animals are just observing. They're just trying to survive, and they are watching us much more closely than we realize. Every single sound we make, every movement, every routine, it all teaches them something about our underlying nature.
Since behavior is quite literally the only language that truly matters in the animal kingdom, we are constantly telling animals exactly what kind of creature we are. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Every habit tells animals what you are. What is your behavior telling the animals around you today? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep observing the amazing world around you.